Listings podcast. I have Wahid here, who I met at FubCon last year. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks Jennifer for allowing me to be on here.
Yeah, I'm so excited for our conversation. You have so much exciting and interesting stuff to share with our listeners, so I'm excited to dive in. So tell us, who you are, what you've been up to, where you're at in the world.
Yeah, so name's Wahid, obviously, from the Seattle space. And I'm in marketing. I do a lot of social content, but mainly my focus is real estate. An agent here, service around pretty much this whole entire county, which is like an hour and a half drive from north, south, east, and west. But it's been 2 years in the game, and I've sold not so much, but I've done at least 25 or 26 million in production, which is a lot for some, but not a lot to other markets. For my standpoint, I think I did somewhat pretty good, but I could do more, right? So that's why I'm out here networking and trying to figure out how to do more business.
Do you know how many agents would be like thrilled that they did that much business? And I mean, can I ask this? Like, how old are you?
Oh yeah, I'm 23. So
see,
that's
insane. So I think you're absolutely killing it.
It's cool, but then also comparison thief of joy, right? I see my buddies that are like 21 doing like 30, 40 mil, and I'm like, oh, geez, okay, I got work to do. So
well, it's as long as you're using it as like a motivator,
yeah,
then that's
in a good way.
But I think that's awesome. So what do you think has made you successful? You have all this competition. What's setting you apart?
Well, so first fun fact, I truly don't think I'm successful, just to get that out there, right? Now people might think of it, but I'm like, I don't know. I got so much work to do, right? But in the 2-year span, I feel like I've done pretty well. And it's just been the grit of just working and doing consistent things. Like right now I have a Notion, or you could even make it on notes, where it's like, have 3 goals out on your timeline, and then every priority you must accomplish every day, right? Even if it's small, as long as you accomplish those 3 priorities, and that priority has to do with the goal. If it doesn't have to do with the goal, then you don't do it. That's an errand. Get your priorities done, which is the small steps every single day, which then lead to bigger consistency basically wins overall, right? But that, along with social media, along with open houses, along with word of mouth, networking, and just being a full force, not ninja real estate agent, it's helped get my name out there.
So what was your big goal for this year?
Big goal for this year, it's always number wise, right? Income wise, they say dream bigger, and if you still fall short, you still reach a good goal. It's to make at least close to 7 figures this year, which would be a cool goal, right? Around 60, 70, or 80K a month. That's pretty much it. Obviously expand and meet a lot more people, maybe meet 150 good connections this year, relationships in general, and that's pretty much it. Super small, not small, but like it's super simple, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's simple, but not at the same time. So like, what are the small actionable things? Because I think that's going to be really helpful for a lot of our listeners. Like, what are the small actionable things you're going to do every day to hit that goal?
So reach out to 2 to 3 people per day, whether if it's Instagram, whether if it's Facebook, or in person. Have them know about me when they never did before. Right? So I could go through a comment and message them. And if they respond, that counts as 1. If they follow, that counts as 1, same thing, right? Make that introduction, meet those people. And if I fall short on one day, I try to make it up on like a networking event. I'll meet like 8 people because I fell short 4 days before, right? Knowing and people knowing you always opens up opportunity. As long as you're a good, genuine person and you have good intentions, then they could trust their intuitions with trusting you with anything that comes along the way, right?
Amazing. Where are you tracking that?
Honestly, just on my Notion.
Okay.
Yeah. So and obviously Follow Up Boss.
So. Yeah, Follow Up Boss for sure. But then you mentioned Instagram. So I'm like, is there some curious way that he's tracking like his Instagram followers? So you mentioned Notion, which I don't use, but I've heard a lot of people using it. How are you using it?
It's been a hit and miss. I used it 2 years ago, and I was like, okay, well, there's so much complexity. This time I got back into it. A good mentor of mine, well, sort of mentor that I don't pay for, I just see him online in the social space. He mentioned that he keeps it simple, just track, do this exact steps, blah blah blah, like the priorities with the goals and the errands with the goals, right? And I kind of just started diving deeper into there, and it's been nice tracking things on there. The Instagram side is still messy. Like I have to kind of keep track who I've made connections with, but messages are saved within Instagram. So if you see a message, then you've already reached out to them.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, that's kind of I love like setting goals, and I love like making it actionable and tracking, and I feel like so many people use different things, right? There's like Sisu
Yeah.
and CTE and spreadsheets, all that stuff. So Notion's another one that I guess should look into.
Yeah, they're
So
great.
you've achieved all this stuff. I know you're like, I'm not successful, whatever, whatever. A million people out there are going to think you are. You use social media as kind of your means to kind of leverage and get more clients. So how did you get started with that? And like, what really made you get into that?
So before real estate, I was into cars. I posted a lot of, I bought wrecked cars. So if you go and wreck your car, their insurance pays it. Insurance pays you out if it's like obviously damaged too much. It goes to the auction. I go buy it from the auction for cheaper, fix it up in my parents' garage when I was obviously living with them, and I would record every single aspect of it. Part one, part two, part three, and then it comes out to be this cool sports car that got rebuilt by this 16-year-old kid in high school. And then I drive it
Yeah.
around and sell it, profit. And then YouTube started, like, one video got 170K views, and I'm like, okay, well, this is cool. Got more into cameras, started vlogging. They're all on private, but I have over 300 videos of me like vlogging with my hand out. And no
Yeah.
one watched it, but it's good memories. After that, got into real estate. I was like, let me become more of an adult. Let me become this person that is not this kid anymore in high school. And cars associated me with a kid in high school. So I had to get away with it. So I left cars alone, got into real estate, got my license, and incorporated marketing again. And the first guy that ever told me in the real estate space said, don't touch social media, delete all of it. Learn a cold call, learn a door knock. And I was like, okay, well, let's do this. Deleted everything. And that's my biggest regret. So I'm back into the space now.
What? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I don't know who told, we won't get into names, but
Old school
whoever told
agent.
you that, yeah, that is some serious old school stuff. And you're quite active on social media, and obviously you're mostly in the luxury real estate space. How did you get into that? Was it just because it was like higher dollar volume? Were you at a brokerage that pushed on that? Like, how did you get started in the luxury space?
So I originally started with Compass, and it was just a group of our cousins. We all decided to get our license while we're in school. Fun fact, I don't share this. I failed the test like 10 times, and I truly was not focused on it. It was becoming more of a hobby for me just to like say I was studying after school,
Yeah.
and when I'm hanging out with friends. It was like just a cover up. And I realized one day, wow, I spent like $1,400 on tests. Like, let me actually take this seriously. Took it
Yeah.
seriously for 2 days, passed the test, done. You know, After that, I'm getting sidetracked with my stuff. What was this question again?
How did you get started in the luxury space?
I see. So started with Compass, that's where we left off. And then realized that no structure was made with my buddies and stuff like that. So I left the team that barely produced in my opinion. And
Mm-hmm.
I went with Sotheby's. I thought it was the coolest, most badass thing in the world with the flag sticking out of the buildings and the international exposure. Stepped in front of three blonde ladies that interviewed me to say, why do you think you should be here? Like, why Sotheby's, right? They have their pre-core interview. And I sold them on it, I guess. And they allowed me to come in. I got a mentor in there. And then I was an hour away from the main cities. I still lived in Kent, which is hour and a half away. Median
Yeah.
price point 700. Office at Sotheby's was median price point 2.1, 2 mil. So it was like double, triple, right? Drove every day, tried to make as much as money as possible, then moved out here. And then now my whole life is this city.
Amazing.
So put my back against the wall. I'm in Kirkland right now. So
Awesome. Well, I'm going to pivot a little bit because I feel like there was some exciting stuff that happened to you, and I want to hear about that journey, right?
mm.
So let's talk about, you were Inman's ambassador. How did that happen? How did you get selected for that?
Social media, that's it. Just get in communities and groups, be a good person, have good morals, and people will see it and trust you, right? I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how that happened, but I somehow got in. I just know it's just because of social media. Like, you
Yeah.
post, you put yourself out there, and people trust you. They see you as a good person. They know you're not trying to screw them over or have this ego, which I truly confidently don't. They see it, and then they invite you to things that you would never think of.
Yeah.
And you just say yes to everything until you start to say no when you make, I guess, a little more or have less time, right?
No, you have to say yes to most things
Yeah.
for a while. I feel like I'm like a total yes person. I feel like I say yes to most things unless it totally doesn't align or it takes away time from my kids, honestly. Then
Yeah.
I say no.
Well,
But
that Inman thing too was my first time in the East Coast, so it was tough to say yes. But I was like, okay, well, what's the worst that could happen, right?
right?
And that's I don't know if you went there or not, but
Mm-mm. No, I haven't made it there.
it was fun.
I haven't been to Inman. I have to be really choosy about where I travel to, mainly because I've got little kids. So
Yeah,
someone's got to pick them up from school, and it throws a wrench in everything.
had your time though. It's easier when you have no kids, right?
Right,
Example.
right. Yeah, totally. Way easier because you're
Yeah,
only responsible for yourself. I'm responsible for like 5 people.
yeah, and they're
Uh,
humans, so
yeah, like,
like
yeah.
that's not cars or houses or anything, right?
No, not even to mention all the animals I'm responsible for. So yeah, I have to
Oh,
limit my
geez.
traveling.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the company you started. Like, let's touch on that. How's that going? What is that doing? How are you supporting agents with that?
So biggest question I got every time as an agent was, who does your marketing? And I'm like, oh, I do. And then they say, well, how can I do the same thing you're doing? I'm like, you can't because I'm doing it and I don't do it for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Slowly realizing that the connections I made from social media of my friends that are also young 21, 22, 23 year olds in marketing on social media, killing it, crushing it, they have the same problem. So we all decided, which is three of us, one's in DC, one's in Texas, branded Refitified. That's the company that it's called. It's not even a word, but we thought it sounded cool. I was the founder of the word, and the URL wasn't taken. Nothing was taken. And it's refitify your image, refitify your brand, right? The word makes sense itself. So I was like, let's go with it.
Yeah,
We decided to join in together, have this statewide or countrywide approach, right? DC, Texas, Washington, and combine our efforts on one social, one plan of action is to help these agents of what we're doing. Other than that, now we have a solution. Anytime someone reaches out, we say, oh, we can handle it for you. So I was actually just on 2 calls before this on like, what do you call them? Zoom calls. They're trying to figure out if this is the best plan of action or not.
yeah,
And then we go over everything. We give them a price. And if they're cool with it, cool. If not, then I still go to bed the same. I still have my food the same. Doesn't bother us.
yeah.
Right.
So are you doing all of their social media? Like, how does that work? Are they giving you
Uh,
content and you're doing it? Are you shooting it? What does that look like?
Yeah, so I'm still shooting it because I enjoy it, but I'm actually bringing on a videographer after this call. I'm meeting him at a coffee shop
Mm-hmm.
and seeing if he's a good fit because people interview only two people until they decide to pick them, right? I want to interview multiple people so I could get good at that rep and then
Yeah,
decide who's good. Anyways, I do all the work. We mainly right now my focus has been running the videos for them and then they post, right? So we provide the script, we provide the hashtags, the captions, we deliver the video, we shoot it for them, execute it, tell them where to go. Like literally all they have to do is listen for 4 hours once a month. After that, we deliver the content and they post, right? And then they get good coaching, they get good weekly coaching, etc. So, and that's just the basic plan. If they want to
yeah.
take it to us taking it over completely, then we could do all of it.
Do all of it. I feel like the first part, I mean, it's all hard, but I feel like the first part, like the creating the script and like sitting down is the hardest part for most agents because they just don't know where to start or we all overthink it because we sit there and record ourselves like 50 million times when if
Yeah.
you could just sit down for 4 hours once a month, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and there's accountability, there's coaching, you have 24/7 access to me. Like, I think that's a good deal. I would do it if I started, you know?
24/7 access. No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Well, we have people too that are different countries, right? That know the
Mm,
workflow, know the company. So when I'm sleeping, they're working. When I'm
okay.
sleeping, stuff still gets done, right? So
Amazing.
hacking the time zone.
That's perfect. Yeah. So then that makes more sense. It's not 24/7 access to just you. It's the whole your whole
Yeah,
team,
yeah.
right?
But during
Okay.
Pacific daytime US hours, it's me. So
Amazing. Well, I think this is great. I feel like you can help so many, agents out there. If you haven't checked him out on Instagram yet, I'll have him give you his Instagram URL. And Wahid, if someone wants to get a hold of you, whether it's for Refitified or to send you a referral, where's the best place to send them to?
yeah, just search up my name on Instagram, and I respond to every single message. It's me. So
Perfect. And I'll drop all that down in the show notes. Well, thanks so much for joining me. It was so great seeing you. Hopefully, I get to see you again this year at FubCon.
yes, I'll be there. I'll be there. And just quick note, really quick: if you're not in Washington, Texas, or DC, we can still hold you accountable, coach you, and make edited videos for you. We just tell you you need an iPhone and a mic. That's it.
Awesome. Well,
Bye.
thanks for joining me today and have a great rest of your day.
All right, Jennifer. You too.
Bye.
Bye.